Hey, 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 everybody. Welcome back to the Tea Lounge with Miss J. Of course, you guys know I'm your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, Miss AKA Miss Simone Jackson, here to bring you guys another great episode of the Tea Lounge. Of course, if you guys know, we are a celebrity-based podcast show where we have a guest where we talk about various different topics and everything. But I'm super excited for our next guest. He's one of Hollywood's hottest continuing rising comedians. He is making an impact with his comedic style and his stories. I am super excited to be talking with him today. Everybody, please give a warm welcome to Tehran Van Ghasri. Hi, Tehran.
Hi, Miss J, or is it Miss Jackson if I'm nasty? How does that work for you?
It's Simone or Miss J. Either way
Okay,
is good for me. So I'm excited to have you on here today. How are you?
I'm excellent. I cannot complain.
Oh, that is great. That is great. Well, like I said, I am super glad to be having you on here. But if that's all right with you, I'm going to fire the first question at you. What began your passion for stand-up?
I'll be very honest. I did not have a passion for stand up at all growing up. So it wasn't like a lot of stand up comedians are heavy into stand up. They love stand up. They felt Eddie Murphy or Chris Rock or whatever stand up special that just resonated with them sat there. I'm still not even that big a fan of comedy specials even. So I didn't grow up this ultra super comedy fan. However, there was a point in my life where I was graduating law school and I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into music management and behind the scenes. That had kind of fallen apart. And while I was thinking what I wanted to do, and this is why I always advocate for representation, because representation is so important.
Yes.
I turned on the television and I was watching Fuse Network, which is at that time Canadian MTV. I don't even know why I had this channel. And and this is like 8 years ago.
Mhm.
This is like 8 years ago, 9 years ago. I'm watching this channel and there was a light-skinned black guy with a fro, with a great smile, telling jokes, and then he would introduce music videos. And he was so charming and charismatic. And he's actually my friend now. His name is Mikey Winfield. And I remember watching him, someone who looks like me and seems like me and sounds like me, doing something. And at the age of 23, at the age of 24, I saw someone who looked like me and thought, wow, if this guy can do this, I can do it too. I figured out that he was performing next at the Laugh Factory in Los Angeles. I'm from
Mhm.
Washington, D.C. I purchased a plane ticket to come here to find out more about comedy. And I met the owner of the Laugh Factory. I schmoozed and wooed my way, and I was given a chance to perform for the first time that Monday. I did not live in Los Angeles at the time. Of course, the owner did not know that I did not live in Los Angeles at the time. I overstayed my trip. I performed, and then the rest is history. And then I got a regular Monday night at the Laugh Factory, and now I have 2 nights at the Laugh Factory, and I have been doing comedy ever since. So that passion was found, honestly, in a moment of clarity in my mind of what I wanted to do. And it's because of how instrumental that A, representation is, and B, how instrumental comedy is as an art form.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. Representation is important. This is why I definitely doing what I am doing. I definitely want to see, more people like me doing what I'm doing, and this is why I have my platform the way I do. But I think that's actually really incredible, though. Having 2 spots, 2 nights at the Laugh Factory, that's the place. If you're a comedian, that is the place to go and do your stand up. That's pretty awesome.
It
But
it is actually
mhm.
it's amazing to be able to be at the Laugh Factory, which is one of the premier comedy spots, not only
Yep.
in Los Angeles or California or the United States, but in the entire world. In
Yep.
the entire world.
That is incredible. Kind of going on to the number two question there. Now that we're kind of in this, I hate to say it, new normal with this whole quarantine and kind of stuff, how do you come up with some of your material? for stand-up?
Well, that's the concept of stand-up, right? Stand-up is about experience. It's about who you are as a person and what you're becoming. So the best stand-up comedians always speak their truths. We find a lot of truths, not only about the world, but about ourselves during quarantine. So I imagine a lot of comedians will have a lot of material. Sure, a lot of it's going to be based on the quarantine itself and different perspectives, but a lot of it's going to be based on what's going on in the world, of course, but a lot of it's going to be about based on the reflection of ourselves during this time in quarantine, who we've become. I've found a lot of things about myself that I did not know were true.
Yeah.
I did not realize how many times a day, for example, I stub my toe. I stub my toe all the time. I stub my toe on the table in my living room. I don't even have a table in my living room. I don't know how it's even physically possible to stub my toe so much. I found that about myself. I found out that I have an amazing supernatural talent of purchasing movies on Amazon Prime right before they come out for free. I literally purchase movies. It's statistically impossible. It is impossible to buy this many movies that come out for free the next day. That is a real thing.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's crazy to me because, I mean, like, no one bought Just Mercy. I bought Just Mercy. I bought Just Mercy. Like, no one has ever even heard of Just Mercy. Not only did I buy Just Mercy, the next day it was free on Amazon. Like, no one bought Just Mercy. Even Michael B. Jordan did not buy Just Mercy. Like, he had never seen Just Mercy before. Jamie Foxx had never seen Just Mercy. And then it became free on Amazon Prime, and I had seen it. Like, that is a real thing. That is a real thing.
I love that. I love that so much. Okay, you stub your toe, and I don't know how many times a day that I discovered I hit my funny bone on stuff, and it's
exactly.
And it's never funny. I don't care what anybody says. Hitting the funny bone never is ever funny. But yes, I think that's great.
There's nothing funny about hitting your funny bone. I don't know who named it that. If someone, just an evil person named it that, which is what my suggestion is. Like, someone is just a bully was like, yeah, that's so funny, Tim. Ha ha ha, you're dying. Like, whoever did that. But this is what I mean. This is what I mean. Buying clothes that are the wrong size on these websites from China, that, you know how hard it is to go out of your way to buy the wrong size every single time? Every single time. I have every single article of clothing I've ever purchased from a website in China has been the wrong size. One time I literally purchased all the sizes they had, and they were all wrong. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. That's what you learn about yourself. That is what you learn about yourself during quarantine.
That is great. I love all of that. That is going to be me one day, and I have no apologies for it. No apologies for it. That's going to be me one day. Oh, kind of going on to the number 3 question. What, besides the Laugh Factory, of course, what are your other favorite places to do stand-up?
By far, my favorite place to do stand-up is the Laugh Factory. That's my home club. However, I love stand-up. I love stand-up. I love probably the sound of my own voice and the logic of my own thoughts, right? So I love stand-up. Of course, we have access to the most amazing stand-up comedy clubs in Los Angeles, Comedy Store, the Improv. In New York, you have Gotham, you have the Cellar. You have amazing places to do comedy. I love comedy clubs, but I love doing comedy. I would stand on the street corner and do comedy. Right now, during quarantine, I've been doing comedy. My best comedy, grocery store lines. When people can't leave, I'm killing it. I'm killing the cashier. I'm killing cashiers. I'm killing it. Like, stand-up is an art form, and it's something that honestly becomes you, and you become stand-up. So I prefer, doing comedy in sold out crowds, of course, and in Madison Square Garden sold out, which I've never done, but hopefully one day aspire to do so. However, I like doing stand-up wherever, whenever, however I can.
Love it. Love it. I hope to one day maybe walk the streets of Seattle and see you do stand up on the streets of Seattle. That'd be great. I'll definitely stop and
You
listen.
never know. I might be the person who stands on a soapbox and does comedy that way. And it's interesting, a lot of the great comedians have started this way as well.
Yep.
I remember Dave Chappelle used to do that in Washington, D.C., and then I heard about it in New York. That was actually the first I've ever seen stand up was Dave Chappelle while I was a kid in Washington, D.C. So, yeah.
That is amazing. I'm jealous.
Yeah, and
I am.
Michael Collier is actually famous for doing stand up. He was a stand up comedian who even says he went from crack to comedy, doing stand up in Venice Beach, just standing there and doing amazing stand up for hours and hours and hours on the boardwalk, because that's what stand up is. Practice makes perfect.
Ah, that's amazing. I love that. I do. And speaking of comedians, this is going to go into my next question here. Back in late October of 2019, a lot of comedians spoke out against cancel culture and how it's affecting comedy. What is your thoughts about cancel culture and its effect it could have on comedy?
I love how comedians are so self-centered. We're worried about how cancel culture affects comedy and not how it affects society as a whole. We're like, but it's bothering us. We can't tell our jokes. We can't tell these racist jokes. The thing about cancel culture is, unfortunately, the extreme of anything is too much. Even if you drink too much water, eventually you'll drown.
Yep.
So the court of being innocent until proven guilty, the way it's supposed to be, of course, in the judicial system, it doesn't always work out that way, but it's supposed to be. And then being guilty until you prove yourself innocent, and even then you're still guilty in the court of public opinion, is a concern. I will always have that implicit concern based on a principle. However, my concern isn't as much with cancel culture as it is with us comedians. It's not about if you're saying what you're saying is racist, or if it's sexist, or if it's bigoted or prejudiced. It's about if you're saying it and it's not funny. That's your real crime. Is if you're saying something and it's not funny, then you should be canceled as a comedian. The concept is be funnier. Think funnier. Let's not reach for the low hanging fruit, which I myself am guilty of. We can do better. We can be better.
Love it. Totally agree. Yes. I totally agree. I think that was the boom goes dynamite type moment. And I really hope people take that in. I really do. That's really powerful.
It's true. Comedians are the hero the world deserves, but not the one it needs right now, you know? So the concept is we can just be better. And that's on us. That's on us. So yes, it's difficult. It's difficult to move around and transpire in the world of cancel culture. But people aren't canceling Dave Chappelle. He pushes the envelope.
Yep.
People aren't canceling him. He says things that are egregious and outrageous to many people. Why? Yep. Because he's funny. Because he's funny.
Yep, and he's one of my favorites. That's why I said I'm super jealous you got to see him, because I've always loved Dave Chappelle. Always. He says what you're thinking and he says it funny. So, yeah.
He's brilliant.
He's beyond brilliant. He is beyond brilliant. I knew he was brilliant the moment I saw him on Undercover Brother. That's where I knew he was brilliant. Hands down.
That's a good one. Good
yeah, right?
Good for you.
Going on to the number 5 question. I want to make sure my audience keeps up with you and your work. Where are you in social media?
I am Tehran all across the board. IAMTEHRAN. My name is Tehran, like the capital of Iran. So if you don't know how to spell it, just watch Fox News. They'll run a story on me every single day. And I am Tehran all across the board on all social media platforms.
All right, everyone, make sure you follow him and keep up with his work and in his comedy. He is definitely speaking some truth here. So make sure you guys follow him in all across the board social media. So make sure you do that. Going on to the number 6 question. What are some projects you are involved with that you can give a little dish about to the Tea Lounge audience?
Well, recently I was part of a short film directed by Dane Cook, written by Dane Cook
Oh,
and Mo Abbat, called American Typecast, which is an examination of typecasting in Hollywood. It's a funny short, especially Middle Eastern typecasting. It's a very funny short. It has gone on to win several festivals. I did have a lot of things in the work, but then quarantine uh, definitely was the Trump wall that denied my immigration to success. But that's only, it's just now it's about not being halted but pivoting. So I've been pivoting into other projects. I've been doing the Instagram live at the Laugh Factory with Craig Robinson on a daily basis, where we try to bring joy and comedy and amazing headliners to the people in the world. I've been part of several writing projects, one hopefully coming to Netflix soon, one
ooh,
movie that was supposed to be released. It's been pushed back. It will be released later this fall. So I've been active, but the concept is it's nice to say all these things. It's in LA. Everyone says all these things. My Uber driver is a producer and a dentist and a DJ. I get it. It's not about working a lot. Hopefully, it's not just about working a lot. Hopefully, I'm working towards something more and
yes.
growing. So it's that I'm culminating into what we think of as real success.
Yes, that's exactly where I'm at too. Just day by day, growing my podcast, growing, the networks and stuff like that. So yes,
Good,
going
good.
towards something, working towards something. And you're right. It's just as long as you're working towards something better, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
The rest will come, but you just got to continue to work towards something better. So I agree with that.
Why, thank you, Miss J.
Of course. All right, coming up to the next question. What goals do you hope to still achieve in your career?
Still achieve?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'm amazing. No, I have every goal I have to still achieve. I am literally simply 1% in or 5% in, to be very honest. I have 95% of my career left in front of me as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I have productions to work on and scripts to write. I have movies to create. I have friends to put on. I have platforms to allow for people of color, especially women,
Whoop, whoop.
to be able to present. I have a lot of things left to do in my journey. So I'm not even close to being where I need to be. I need all of your followers to not be like, who? But to be like, oh, that's what I need. So
Oh, I like that.
I
I
have
just
a
said it.
exactly. I liked it. I liked the way you said it was actually profound and perfect. That's what I need. I need that to happen. So I have a lot left to do.
No, what you said made sense. That was some clarity. Like they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see that. I see you. I like that. I like how you have that attitude. You still have everything to do, 95%. You still got everything to achieve and you're going to achieve it. I really like that attitude. That's refreshing to me.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate you.
no, yeah. Coming up to the last few questions there. If you didn't choose, not choose, you just said comedy kind of came to you, but if you really didn't lean into comedy, what other career choice would you have chosen?
Oh, I would have been Puff Daddy. You don't understand. I thought I was going to be T. Diddy. I was going to be this music mogul executive. I was gonna have jiggy dances in videos. I was going to be Puff. Do you
Oh my
understand?
god.
I knew all that you could know about music. I was going to just take over the music world by storm and just renovate and reinvigorate the mainstream pop and hip hop. I was gonna do it all. So that's where I would have been.
T Diddy, I have to say that's awesome. That you really should probably change your name to that. Honestly, I feel like there was a missed opportunity. That is great.
That's who I should have been. That's who I should have been. That's who I would have been. That's who I could have been. If it wasn't for these pesky kids. No, that's exactly it. That's how it should have went. Like I would have been Puff. I would have been Puff. You guys would have been like, I would have had a catchphrase. I would have, nah, mean. I would have had just something. Something would have been my catchphrase. All of you would just know, but like, nah, mean. And then it would have been a hashtag. The whole nine.
I feel like could be time for you to create a Diddy persona. You know, I feel like there's still a little bit time for that.
I know. I need to. It's just my own lack. That's who I would have been.
I love it. I'm sorry. I really feel like I should put T Diddy on a shirt and just like start marketing it. I really think so. Yeah. That's just brilliant. All right. Can we plug in the last few questions? What are your passions outside of comedy and TV and music? What other passions do you have?
Honestly, I'm a very simple person. I tend to read a lot. I read a lot. I try to read at least a book every couple days. Definitely a book a week. I'm just, I don't like being stereotypical, but I do like basketball, playing basketball. I'm not the guy that watches sports. I really have never been. I don't really particularly care about sports. So people are like, oh, we need the NBA season. And I'm like, oh, I actually kind of like quarantine, you know? But I do enjoy playing basketball. I've played basketball on the high school and collegiate level. And so I like it. And I really like March Madness is the sporting event that I tend to watch if I do, because you're watching kids play their hearts out in order to basically finalize their dreams and wishes and goals in life. So you're watching entire lifestyles and life wishes come to fruition. And that's about it. I eat a lot of junk food. I love candy. I'm not like I watch Netflix a lot. Like, don't let me fool you with the reading. I love watching Netflix. And by the way, when I say watching Netflix, it's not like everything I watch is the 13th. No, most of the stuff I watch, I'm basically a 15-year-old teenage girl. I watch Sabrina. I like The Order. I like All American. I'm just like, love it. I all into it too. Like into it. Like I'm that person. You understand?
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. That's what I'll
That is a real thing. That is a real thing. That is a real thing. That's I'm into these shows where I'm just like, why am I this person? No, Spencer, make the right decision. Like I'm that.
Why am I this person? Can't help it. Sometimes we just can't help it. We really can't.
I'm losing so much street cred right now. Like but it's true. I know this is the truth. I just finished watching The Order on Netflix. The Order, and it's like it was so cute. It was just such a good show.
I love it. Oh, that's brilliant. Next time I have a TV night, in Seattle, you got to come because that's the shows that we watch. That is the shows that we watch.
And especially, look, people will be like, yo, you trying to go out tonight? And I am always like, oh, who's going? Because I need a guest list. I don't just go places. I need to know exactly who's invited. Be like, Agreed. Yeah, we got a lot of girls. We got all these girls. And I'll be like, oh, tonight I can't. I have to work on this project, i.e., I have to watch season 5 of Lucifer. Like that is.
I need to watch season 5 of Lucifer.
Like that is, but that's what I really mean. But I don't say that. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's what I mean. But like what I say is I can't, I have to wake up early. What I mean is I'm staying up all night to watch Riverdale again. Like that's what I really mean.
That is brilliant. I love it. So Riverdale, yes. I
Yo,
love it. All
it's not
right.
a comic book. It's brilliant, okay?
It is brilliant. There is no arguments there. I agree. It is brilliant. It is
Watchmen,
absolutely brilliant.
Watchmen was like amazing, amazing. Like that's
Oh
what
my
I mean.
God. Yeah.
That's what I mean about entertainment. That's what I mean about representation. That's what I mean about comedy and the value of comedy. The concept is let's just examine comedy, right? Good
Mm-hmm.
comedy makes you laugh, but great comedy makes you think. Great comedy is social commentary. Great comedy is, yes, this is good comedy. Ha ha ha. You know what's great comedy? Wow, that's so true. And that's why entertainment has such a strong value because it can change people's perspectives and minds
Yes.
and be a voice for so many people, which is why we need so many different people in these rooms. So many people in these different rooms. I was in a writer's room once, and one of the writers spoke up and said, it's a white writer was like, it's difficult for me to write an African American character because whatever I write is wrong. If I write them a certain way, I'm stereotyping and it's not authentic. And everyone in the room kind of attacked him. And I was like, first of all, I thank him for speaking up and speaking his truth. Second of all, you're attacking him when you need to be attacking the people who are not hiring Black women to be in these rooms. When you need to attack the people who are not hiring Latinx writers to be in this room. That's who you need to
Mm-hmm.
really be attacking, not the person who's speaking the truth. The truth is, you know, Johnny shouldn't be writing a Black woman's voice. We should have a Black woman. We should have Miss J in this writing room writing this person's voice, an
Mm-hmm.
authentic voice. So representation, entertainment, Watchmen. You know how many people, I remember telling people about Tulsa Massacre growing up because my father's Iranian and my mother's Black. And so history has always been huge in my family. And my
Mm-hmm.
mother is very Afrocentric in pride. So I knew about the Tulsa Massacre and I would tell people and tell people this one, and everyone thought I was crazy. And then one show, Watchmen, depicted it perfectly in a 3-minute montage. And now everyone has been made aware and is understanding and sympathetic and empathetic. Just something
Mm-hmm.
that simple. That's why it's so important to tell our stories.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
You like how I did that? I deflected from the fact that I watched Riverdale. Did you
Yeah,
like that?
you
That's what
did.
I
You
did.
did. Except for I still remember. And you said
Yo,
Sabrina. I heard
yo,
Sabrina.
yo,
Hmm.
Sabrina, by the way, Sabrina got canceled.
I know. Isn't that
Sabrina,
disappointing?
it's not only is it disappointing, it's extremely disappointing, but season 3 was a bit lackluster, and that's why. But I'm very upset that Sabrina got canceled. It's such a good show. So the second season is amazing, just amazing television.
Definitely gonna have to check it out. Definitely gonna
Uh,
have to check it out.
yeah, Riverdale did not get canceled. So just in case you were wondering,
Yeah,
Riverdale's
Riverdale's
still on.
still on.
Yeah,
Riverdale's still on.
maybe
All
we'll get some
right.
Sabrina sightings.
We're gonna get to the final question for you. I would love to actually know the story behind your incredibly poetic name.
Tehran von Ghasri, and I'll explain it to you now. My name's Tehran, like the capital of Iran. My father is Iranian immigrant, came to this country um, for education in the midst of the 1979 revolution. And then, of course, like many Iranian immigrants in the diaspora, was therefore unable to return to his native land
Mm-hmm.
and started a life for himself in the United States. He met my mother in college. They began dating. Um, and then, of course, after a while, I was born into this world. So my name is Tehran, as the capital of Iran, but not because my father named me Tehran. In fact, Tehran's not a name. I'm the only Iranian to have this name. My mom named me Tehran because it sounded Black to her. It sounded the most Black, and so she really liked that name. Von, which is not my middle name, it's actually a part of my last name, Von, is my mother's maiden name. My mother and father decided to join their names for my last name. And Ghasri, or Ghasri, as it's pronounced in Farsi, means of castle. So in Iran, people receive their last names based on their positions in life. And because of the inherent castle or royalty that my father's family line possessed, his last name is Ghasri. So that's Tehran von Ghasri. A lot of culture all packed into one single name that's extremely difficult for the average person to pronounce, and it gets me in a lot of trouble at TSA. So there you have it.
Oh, no.
There you have it.
No. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The truth always is. That's
Is it?
terrible. The truth always is.
Well, for one, I like the name. It does, as I said, it does sound very poetic. It really does. Sounds, yeah, I really do like it. It's very, very different, very strong. And I think that's why I like it, because it's just not something you hear every day. So, but yeah, that is actually a really, really, really powerful story. I actually appreciate you for sharing that.
I appreciate you for having me on the show. You are fantastic. I am a fan.
Ah!
You post very socially conscious things on your Facebook, which I am also a fan. You're very warm and woke, which are the best two combinations a person can ever be.
Oh my God. Got me smiling all big over here. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sometimes the truth can do that as well. Sometimes it's terrible, and sometimes it's contagious.
It is. Oh, it is. Thank you. I'm going to wear that compliment all day today. Honestly, that's great.
That's the thing, just to clarify, it's not a compliment, it's actually the truth. You are both warm and woke, which is an amazing combination of characteristics. If more people stood with moms, or more people were aware, then the world would be a better place.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. Totally agree. And I really appreciate you being on the show. Like I said, it's I appreciate you giving your thoughts, and I really cannot wait for my audience to embrace you and embrace this podcast. I know they're going to just really discover your comedy, discover who you are, and yeah, prepare to have a bit more followers.
You're amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. And of course, I want to thank everybody for listening into this great podcast today. Of course, you guys know I am your hostess, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson. I will be back with another great episode of the Tea Lounge with Miss J soon. But until then, I want to thank my special guest, Miss Tehran von Ghasri, one more time. I had to say poetic like. And I want to thank everyone for listening in. And I will be back soon. Till then, everyone, have a beautiful day. Bye.